and thank you very much. Now is a Q&A session. Okay, even before the meeting, we have already received quite a lot of questions from all of you, and I'll take this on now while my team will continue to register your question. Okay, timing of distribution. How long will the process take until the clients, all of you, are able to get the funds back? Okay, what I'd like to assure all of you is that we have already started to talk to CAD, and our experience with CAD is that I think firstly they have to finish their investigation until there's a conclusion of the investigation. Either that or there's an outcome of any court case, right? Whichever is later, right? Only after they finish that, then there will be more certainty that the money will will be returned to the rightful owner. Well, even though we have restarted to CAD, our views is that the more appropriate people to talk to them is when we are confirmed as a full judicial manager or we are appointed as a liquidator. Because right now, as you know, as the name suggests, interim judicial manager is actually just an interim measure, right? So only when we confirm our position, then we can enter into more meaningful discussion with CAD. And basis of distribution, okay, basis of distribution. Would the IGMs take into consideration profits made by clients or just the deposits, withdrawals when calculating the liabilities? Now, I think first of all, the past practice is that Samtrade has been paying, as you hear me just now, they have been paying deposits, right? They have been paying the profits and they have been paying share of profit, they have been paying commission. What we have to do first thing is to see whether these profit share or commission, are they legitimate, right? Only if they are legitimate, then we will pay. If they are not legitimate, not only we do not pay in the future, not only we will not consider them in our distribution, we may have to consider taking legal action on whatever that is paid in the form of profit, share of profit or commission to any parties in the past. Percentage of distribution, what is the recovery rate for the clients? Okay, now you hear me just now. Right now, what we can say is that there's assets verified by us of about 160 million, and then on the books there's balance owing to all of you. The liability is about 875 million. So therefore, depending on a few things, one is how much money that we can recover from any other parties, and second, whether how much money we can convert from cryptocurrency to cash. And also the next thing is whether the profit share or your commission, whether they are legitimate. Now, if they are not legitimate, then the people who do not entitle to profit share or commission, you will have more. Okay, you have more to take back. But if the profit share and commission are legitimate, then of course, with a very small sum of 160 million, you have to share amongst the bigger pool of liability, which is 875 million. I do know that there are actually, some of you write to me to say that, is it possible to just pay people where the deposits is actually more than withdrawal and not pay people when they actually have withdrawal more than deposit? Yes, I think that is a very equitable way of looking at things. And in fact, that is our preference. But then again, as I've said, we need to look at the legal side of it and to see whether are the profits or the commissions, are they legitimate? Okay. If I deposit in crypto, would the money return to me in the same form in crypto? No, it will not. Now, in this kind of JM or liquidation situation, in terms of distribution, now everybody has to be fair. Crypto, the value will fluctuate, depends on the market. And therefore, we need to convert that to cash. And then after that, distribute amongst all of you pari passu. What is the sequence of priority for distribution of funds for the clients, for all of you? Will there be different classes of creditors for clients and vendors? No. All of you, as well as the vendors, as long as pre-IJM expenses, all of you are ranked equally, all of you are unsecured creditors. Okay. as the money has been seized by CAD, would the funds seized be distributed to the Singaporean clients only? It will not. As I've said, because all the funds are actually commingled, money that we recover from all over the world will be distributed to all the clients all over the world, right? As long as you are clients of Samtrade. Are the IGMs able to do an interim distribution based on the funds on hand first? I think the question should be that when is the likelihood that we make a distribution? Whether is it interim, is it final? And as I said earlier, right, I think first of all, it depends. Two things. First of all, it depends on how fast CAD conclude the investigation, how fast there's a conclusion in the court hearing, if there's anything. And secondly is whether how fast we can try to verify assets besides this 160 over million, whether there's anything that we can claim from outside this 160 over million, right? How long will the CAD be freezing the funds? Will CAD release the funds back to the clients? Okay, from our experience, typically what the CAD will do is that once they finish the investigation, once the court case concluded, they will go to court to seek permission to release the funds to the parties that are entitled. And we, at that time, the JMs, whether we're JMs or we're the liquidators, will apply to the court to say that we want the money back, and we want the money back so that we can distribute to all of you on a pari passu basis. Will the distribution of funds be segregated by the currency and demography of the clients? No, will not. Okay, as I said, everything will be distributed on a pari passu basis, which is proportionate basis. Okay, recovery of, is the 167 million seized by CAD part of the 267 million represented by management? Yes, as I've presented to you earlier, the 267 million actually represents funds 180 over million that is supposed to be under the IGM companies. And part of it, 167 million, is actually seized by CAD. What will the IGMs do to recover the funds overseas? Okay, we have already started talking to our lawyers overseas, and you all will appreciate that. No, these are Indonesia, Malaysia is very different from Singapore. We have already started, and we will continue two things. One, talk to the lawyers and see what else we can do, whether we'll initiate a civil suit in that country, or two, we have already reported the matters to the authorities, and we'll continue to pursue with the authorities in those countries to see how we can recover the money. In the event the funds overseas cannot be recovered, will the IGM seek recovery of the money lost from the directors and the clients who have withdrawn more than the deposits they include? Yeah, as I've said earlier, besides the money, besides this 167 million, we will always seek to recover money from other sources. We do not rule out possibility of going after people who are responsible for all these trades if we find that they are irregular. And of course, for clients who have withdrawn more than deposits, if the withdrawal are not legitimate, we will go after them to recover this money. As the funds overseas are outside CAD's jurisdiction, who will be able to assist in seizing those money overseas? Now, this is the same as just now what we said. The local authorities, whether Malaysian or Indonesian authorities, we have to rely on them to help us recover this money. Okay, since Samgo commented his priorities is to pay the capital back, can ask him to furnish his accounting. How is this possible? How do they operate without monthly tracking of financials? I think that's a very good question. We will relay this to Samgo. In fact, that without the accounting records at all, actually it is almost an impossible task for us to, in a way, reconstruct the accounts of all these 6 IGM companies. And that is why I say that without help from everybody, including you, including the company's employees, it is virtually impossible to come up with these numbers. And yes, as I've said, the unwithdrawn capital is 400 million, and what we have on hand is only 100 over million. We will relay your question to Samgo. Investors of Forex Briefcase have had their accounts drawn down to about 5% of the account balance on the day MetaQuote's terminated relationship with Samtrade FX. Was it because the accounts were holding floating trades? Okay, floating trades, I take it as open trades. Okay, I think in the first place that I do not see any evidence that there's any drawdown of any account balance when we come in as IJM. But what we know and what we've explained to you just now, on 31st January 2022, when MetaQuote terminate the license, there's actually foreclosure of all the open trades, and we do know that there's huge loss suffered by a lot of you, during that time. So I suppose, when you are talking about a drawn down to about 5%, it's probably not really a drawn down, but it's actually realization of losses. Okay, down all the way to about 5%. Will the IGMs be taking action against the account manager of Forex Briefcase? And will the IGMs be sharing any information with the investors of Forex Briefcase for the investors to take action? Okay, I split this into two parts. I think first of all, yes, you all have all the rights, as clients of Forex Briefcase. If you have evidence, yes, you can take action against Forex Briefcase, either report to the authorities or take up legal suit, civil suit against them. Now, right now it's too early for us to tell you whether we've taken any action against Forex Briefcase, but we do know, we reassure you that we do know what's going on. We do know what's the parties' dealings, including Forex Briefcase, including Fin 888, including Rockpal. We're investigating into this, and depending on our findings, okay, if we have enough evidence, we will go after people. Okay, either we initiate a civil suit or report this to the authorities. Now, we are not able to share with you any information during the investigation until such time we take legal action and if our report is made public. Right? But if there's anything that you would like to share with us, you feel that that will help our investigation, we appreciate if you come forward to us on an anonymous basis. Okay, when will we expect the next update from IJMs? Okay, as I said, after the first IGM report, we have already prepared a supplemental IGM report that is going to be issued in 2 to 3 weeks' time. And that's basically just updating our verification efforts as well as a bit of more breakdown of client balance. We are continuing our work, and likelihood is that only after we confirm as a judicial manager or we are appointed as liquidator that we will come up with more substantial sort of update to all of you. Okay, based on report, the IJMs do not think Samtrade can achieve the objects of JM. Does that mean the hearing in July will be cancelled and Samtrade will be back to business? No, absolutely not. Okay, the hearing on July will not be cancelled. Okay, what's going to happen is that if the court is satisfied that the 6 IJM companies, no point putting them under judicial management, no point wasting time, wasting money, go straight to liquidation, then these 6 companies will be placed under liquidation, right? But if the court feels that, yes, maybe there's still opportunity, there may still be parties interested in these companies and invest meaningful money, new money, then the court will then rule that, these 6 IGM companies will be confirmed to be under judicial management. I do not think that there's any likelihood that Samtrade will be back to business. As I've explained to you, no MT4 license is terminated. There's really no business at all that Samtrade SVG is carrying on now. And right now, as Samtrade SVG, there are only 8 employees that we have retained. And with the insolvent situation, is hopelessly insolvent position, I don't think that they are able to continue business at all. Do I need to have a lawyer representing me in order to recover my funds? Would having a lawyer represent me put me in priority of other clients that do not have lawyer represent? Okay, first question, do I need to have a lawyer represent me in order to recover my funds? Okay, the answer is really is up to you, but really there's no necessity to have that. As IJM or later on JM, full JM or liquidators, we are officer of court. We have responsibility to report our findings to all of you, and all of you will be treated equally as long as you are creditors of the companies. And would having a lawyer represent me put me in priority of other clients that do not have lawyer represent? No. Whether you have or have no lawyer, we will treat you equally. Do I need to file a police report to be eligible as a creditor of Samtrade? No, you don't have to, because we do have records. We do have records that and that is 875 million balance owing to all of you. But at some stage, when we will call for all of you to file a proof of debt with the company, which means that you have to write to the JMs or liquidator at that time to say how much money that that the company is owing to you, and you have to show us some evidence, and in this case, it's probably a screenshot of whatever balance that you have through the CRM system. Okay, so you do not have to file any police report. How are groups like Fin888 and Rockpile part of Samtrade business? For Fin888, we know that Peter Sufandri is the Indonesian representative. Is he connected to TJ and Mano? Who is the master trader behind Fin888? Good question. All right, good question. We know about all these things, and we are starting to investigate. Right now, we are not in a position to update all of you on this at all. And same thing, if you have more information on all this, please come forward and help us share with us this information. Who will be paying for all the professional fees, JM fees, legal fees incurred in relation to JM application? This will be paid from the assets of the IJM companies or later on the JM companies. Okay, how much will the expected cost be? Okay, up to this stage, or even until the hearing in July, we expect the cost. Okay, cost is not fees. So the cost that is going to be incurred by the JMs, IJMs, by our legal representative, our lawyer, and all that is in the region of about $5 million. This is a cost incurred. And what we're going to do, to be fair to everybody, to be fair to all of you, is that we are going to get independent assessor to assess to see whether is this reasonable. And then at the end of the day, we have to submit to the court for the court to decide to see whether is this something reasonable or not. And at that stage, all of you also can be heard in court. You can always write to the court and provide to the court what is your views of the fees. Okay. Can I still claim from the insurers mentioned under the 6 pillars? Okay, there are two parts to it. One is whether you can claim directly with the insurers. I don't think so, because most of the insurance is taken up by Samtrade SVG, right? So therefore, from that angle, I don't think it's likely that you are able to claim, because first of all, the professional indemnity insurance, that's actually between Samtrade and the insurer, between Samtrade Custody, Samtrade Vanuatu, and Falcon Insurance. So really, the rightful party to claim is Samtrade Vanuatu, Samtrade Custodian SVG. Unfortunately, the insurance is really lapsed, right? So I don't think that these companies are able to claim from Falcon. For the third-party insurance with YKFX, the party insured is Samtrade Hong Kong entity, and this entity hasn't even started business at all. So we do not think that there's any chance to claim from YKFX. And for the alternate dispute resolution body, Finacom has said very clearly that it has terminated Samtrade SVG's membership and expressly said that they will not entertain any claims, right? So I do not think that there's good chance to claim from insurance, even though we are still exploring. We are not giving up hope yet. We're still exploring. Okay. These questions, as I know, Forex briefcase. In the event of JM not approved, who will continue to investigate this? If still no outcome, should Forex briefcase investor lodge report to MASCAD to investigate this separately, in depth? whether there is any fraud committed by broker, master trader. Good question. This is something that we've talked about just now. Now, if JMs are not approved, means what? If let's say the company is not going to for a full JM, likelihood is that the company will go straight to liquidation, and the liquidators, we will continue as liquidator to investigate this. If at that time there is still no definite outcome yet. Of course, the Forex briefcase investors, you can lodge a report to MAS CAD. If you have evidence, it's really your right to lodge a report to MAS and CAD. Right. Okay. Determination of MT4 affect investors in Forex briefcase. Is LCMS Traders Private Limited, that's Forex briefcase, holding our cash? Okay. So the first part of the question is that yes, when 31st January 2022, when Matchtrade or MetaCode terminate MT4 license, and I told you that is when all the open trades have been forced closed, and there is actually a huge loss being realized. Okay, is LCMS Traders Private Limited holding our cash? Now, this is something that we're still investigating. We know that there's some money that is held by them. They actually sort of transferred $1.5 million to the IJMs, but we are still trying to establish whether there is any more money that's held by LCMS or Forex briefcase. Was Samtrade a scam or Ponzi scheme? Did they actually trade Forex and are profitable in trading? Whether Samtrade is a scam or Ponzi scheme, we can't tell you conclusively at this stage. We can only tell you that looking at the business model undertaken by Samtrade, it is totally not sustainable at all. You know that when you make a profit and when you make huge profit, and in fact you do, Samtrade is a counterparty that is making a huge loss. Right. So, the question is really, when you make a profit, who is paying you that profit? Samtrade FX makes it very clear in their website that funds are clearly segregated. Why is this not the case of findings? And what is the charge for such offense? Okay, why is this not the case? I think this is something that you have to ask SAMGO or ask the people that represent you. Now, what is the charge for such offense? This, we'll leave it to the police to investigate this. Okay. Same thing, Samtrade FX make it very clear that SAM's deposits are protected by Falcon Insurance, but finding shows that it has lapsed. What is the charge for such act? Same thing, right? We have already reported our findings to CAD, and be well assured that they are on top of things, and we have confidence that they are looking into that. CAD is looking into this. What is the use of these insurance policies if they terminated the policy when the clients need that? Good question again. And that is why we're trying to seek legal advice to see whether, is there ground for the insurers to terminate, whether do we have any recourse against them. I need to manage your expectation too, because looking at the parties that's actually, being insured, it is not positive at all. I don't think it is optimistic at all, right? But we do not give up hope. We still continue to explore this. For what reasons did CAD suspend any activity for Samtrade to operate? Okay, I do not think that CAD suspend any activity. Actually, CAD, what they did is to seize the money that is held by Samtrade. Now, we do not have the reason why CAD seized the money, what tipped them off, or what kind of information they have. Okay, it is Samtrade that actually applied to suspend the activity. Right, not CAD. Under what circumstances the money held by CAD amounted to 167? Okay, under what circumstances will this money not be returned to creditors, investors, meaning permanently confiscated? Wow. Okay, from the experience that I have in this kind of cases with CAD and all that, I have not come across this as yet. I do not see that they actually confiscate this, but I do know that Typically, what CAD will do is they do a thorough investigation, and once the investigation is concluded, whatever legal action that they need to take is taken, and there's conclusion in court. This money will be returned to the rightful owner. Okay, that I have confidence. Do we need to register officially, formally our claims? Yes, as I've said, at some stage, once we confirm the judicial management, that means past the IGM, past the interim judicial management state, whether as judicial manager or liquidator, we will get all of you to submit a proof of that, and you just have to tell us that know how much you are being owed, and then we'll tally with the record that we can get from our system. So what's IJM's interest to pay back investors' money, and why exchanger can withdraw money more than 14 million? What's IJM interest to pay back investors? Okay, I suppose I don't quite understand the question. What's IJM interest to pay back investors' money, and why exchanger can withdraw money more than 14 million after 3rd January? I think, first of all, I'll tell you that whether we are interim judicial managers, we are full judicial manager, or we are liquidators, we are officer of court, and the money is actually, doesn't belong to us. We are answerable to court. We are court officer, and therefore we have the obligation to account the money to all of you, because you are the rightful owner, not the IGMs, not the GMs, or not the liquidators, right? So be well assured that the monies will go back to you, because if not, I can tell you that we will go to jail as GM, IGM, or liquidators. Why exchanger can withdraw money? Okay, I suppose I will take this as, why is it that the 14 million can be withdrawn? I'll take it that this Malaysian money, right? Money in Malaysia, money in Indonesia. Why is it that can be withdrawn? And good question. And that actually shows that there's actually entirely no control by the Singapore management on this money that is held in the hands of Indonesian or Malaysian entities or individuals. And we are still trying to pursue this. Right? We'll update you once we have a bit of leeway on that, headway on that. Please do feel free to raise further questions if I did not answer your question fully. Based on our latest meeting on 19th May, we got an information that IGM has engaged lawyers in Indonesia to assist in terms of recovery of assets in Indonesia. How's the progress, and how to ensure that the assets cannot be transferred without approval of the creditors? Okay. Yes, indeed. We actually have Indonesian lawyers, and the Indonesian lawyers is helping us to file a report to the Indonesian authorities, and we are also talking to them in terms of civil suit, as well as how else can we pursue this money that is held in the hands of the Indonesians. It's still very preliminary stage at this time. How to ensure that the assets cannot be transferred without approval of creditors, we can't. Okay, because we do know that the monies in Indonesia, we don't even know who are these people that is holding this company, who is MC, and whether he is a person or a creature or an entity or anything like that. We do not know who he is. And we do know that there's this person called TJ, but we do need to sort of track him down. Right? How could Samtrade buy gold? It is forbidden. Good question. I can't answer that. Well, but that's a good question nevertheless. Who is Mano that was mentioned in the IGM report recently? We suspect that Mano is actually the MC, because Mano is actually told to us by TJ that he is actually a service provider, and TJ explained what service provider is. Now, service provider is actually the person that is holding money, okay, for the Samtrade online business. So that is all that we know about Mano. Okay, we really do not know what is this. Is he a person at all? Right? And we are still investigating into that. As FIN member, I hope that all FIN members will be recognized as Samtrade creditors, not recognized as external entities, and approved and proven by IJM, JM, RT, and the court, including CAD and MAS. So are there any specific statement from IGM state if Fin is part of Samtrade creditor? As we know that almost all monies from Fin member keep and saving in Indonesia account, I don't know. You can read the statement report from IGM, and it seems like Sam Go kicked the ball to TJ, the name which stated also on the report. Okay, I can assure you one thing, that if you have that CRM balance in your gadget, in your handphone, in your system, in your computer, if you can give us that, you'll be treated as a creditor of Samtrade, right? Or if not, if you really feel helpless, come to us and talk to us, and let us see whether how else can we find any evidence at all to help you make your claims. But just prima facie, on the surface, as long as you can show me the balance in the CRM system, in your handphone or in anywhere, just come to us, okay? We'll acknowledge that. As I know, Peter Sufandri from Fin 888 said that exchanger is chosen by Samtrade. Okay, this is something that I do not know. Same thing, we welcome feedback from all of you. Please come forward and talk to us. We'll make sure that we'll keep your identity anonymous. Most of us mainly using CopySend. CS4 Fin Master Trader, were they faking these trades? Very good questions. We are right now investigating into that. We know that there's a lot of people actually using CopySend. Right? Why Sam Go appointed the best auditor if he knows his business is scam? Thank you very much. We take it as a compliment. But okay, just to be clear, we are not auditors. We really want to come in and see how we can rescue the business. That was right from the start. We really want to see how we can rescue. And then when we do the work, and then we found out that it's actually what we didn't expect, right? So I obviously he has something in his mind. We do not know. May we know where is Sam Go right now? We have not seen Sam Go for the longest of time. I met with Sam Go myself, and I know that there's a question whether is Goh Tian Pong Sam Go. It's not. I'm Goh Tian Pong. I'm not Sam Go. I met him at a very early stage of the appointment of IJM. I wanted to understand the dealing of the business of Samtrade. But after that, I have not seen him anymore, and the correspondence that we have with him is mainly through his lawyers, Trey and Napier. Could you please shed light as to why Sam Go wants to hire IGM when he knows the company is insolvent? He has no choice. Because first of all, I think he has to face all of you. And secondly, there is really no money to pay all of you. There's no money to even pay for the expenses of the companies. And therefore, he has no choice, and he has to put the company either under IGM, JM, or liquidation, right? Or else, then he has to face all of you. Today, whoever is talking to you is not me anymore, it is Sam Go, right? If the companies are not under IGM. What is Sam's explanation related to the mechanism how the investors fund deposit to Samtrade? Okay, you can see from our report, we actually attach all the correspondence that we have with Sam. And the reason why we attach that is because there's a lot of information that we find it the best way to do is for you all, for the readers to read it for yourself, because he said a lot, but we still do not know what's the explanation for the mechanism, how the investors' funds are deposited. What we do know is that Sam Go has been, time and again disclaimed that he is involved in the day-to-day operations of the company, and he attribute the day-to-day operations to his employees. Why does the back-end people of Samtrade knew this whole setup but did not sound any red flags? Okay, I can't answer this. This is a good question too. But then again, these back-end people are the very people that are taking instruction from Sam Go as well, and also the very people that actually come forward to us and provide us with the information that I'm able to share with all of you today. how did Samgo benefit from this model? Okay, this is something. How did Samgo benefit from this model is something that we are looking into it right now. Why would Samtrade not pass these trades to LP? Why keep running a negative business? Good question. As to the reason to this, I can't speculate. I do not want to speculate. But straight away, you can see that, well, the LP may or may not, the liquidity provider may or may not take up any trades that Samgo or Samtrade may enter into with them, right? It is selective. LP can have a choice whether they want to take up a trade or not. And already we know that when Samtrade is running a negative business, running at a loss, all of you are making profit, and therefore we can see that the deposits are building up. More and more people actually trade through Samtrade platform. How IGM verify the number of trade of book A, B, and C? It is irrational for a brokerage to put 99% of the trade in book B trade, taking majority of the risk. I totally agree with all of you with this question. Yes. Is there any possible of data manipulation in the CRM system, as a huge disparity between assets and liabilities is unjustifiable? Is book B trades real or fake? Now, I can only say that book B trades are book B trades. Book B trades is nothing more than a trade between all of you and Samtrade SVG, right? So when you gain, they lost. When you lost, they gain, right? So if you ask me real or fake, it is real to that extent. As to why they do that, that's a question that just now somebody has asked. We won't speculate why they do that. We just know that you see that there are more and more people actually trade through this Samtrade website, and there's more deposit coming in. Okay, how did they get all the license? Okay, I suppose this license can mean a lot. One is, I just like to point out to you that Samtrade doesn't have any license with MAS. And how did Samtrade get a license with MT4 with Match Trade and MetaCode? Okay, I do not have the answer for this right now. We'll get back to you on that. Will you be able to trace who has made withdrawal and commission, then prioritize to pay out to investors who have not made any withdrawal? Yes, I can trace who has made withdrawal and what form of withdrawal, whether the withdrawal is actually in form, is a withdrawal of commission, withdrawal of deposit, withdrawal of profit or share of profit. Not very accurately, but on a bigger picture, yes. Prioritize, as I said just now, we will have to investigate into the legitimacy of this profits, share of profits and commission. And do be well assured that we'll be guided by the lawyers and to make sure that any distribution will be fair to all of you. Will Samgo and Goli Singh go to jail for sure? This is something that I cannot comment. Right? It's for CAD to complete the investigation. Samgo explained personally that the segregated accounts or custodian account is controlled on all our funds, that no one can touch and change accordingly to the trades done. So this is not true. As you can see, money in Malaysia and in Indonesia has been withdrawn. And when we write to Samgo, Sam actually said that he has no control over the money there. What guarantee will be given by the debtor? Okay, I don't quite understand the question here. Okay, I don't think there's any guarantee to be given by any debtor, but I can just assure you that have faith in the Singapore legal process, right? That when the IGM, when the GM and liquidator come in place, we will definitely make sure that we do a proper job to make sure that the people who are entitled to money get paid fairly. And that's all of you. I missed the front portion. Will we get a transcript? Yes, you will. Please do write to us. I think I will go back now. Right. So there's this page. You can write to us at this email address, and then we will send you our slides. And as I've said also, if there's anything that you'd like to share with us, want to discuss with us, please feel free to make appointment with us. Will there be a summary, for example, TLDR, sent to all clients on today's sharing? We will not share any summary, but we will share our presentation slides to anybody who requests for it. I get the impression that the approach being taken that all creditors will be treated equally in the case of any distribution of available funds. Yes. With this in mind, could I please understand why investor clients are not being prioritized above all other creditors? I know the company is not regulated, but surely distribution to investor clients must be prioritized. Okay, I think first of all, need to understand prioritize over who, because you will see that the 875 million is actually all of you. Okay, all of you, and all of you are actually investor clients. And then the other creditors are actually service providers, staff and all that. And these are equal victim, I would say. And that is about one over million. So that 1 over million is actually is a very small amount in this 876 million total liabilities. Okay. And really, the law in Singapore will treat all the victims equally, right? Will the directors be held accountable individually if they have misappropriated the funds to recover back the funds owing to the client? Okay, I think in the first place is, if the investigation by CAD show that there's any misappropriation of funds, then I'm sure the CAD will know what to do to these people. Do you have any deadline to make the decision to pay back capital investors? Thank you. Thank you so much for your work so far. And you're welcome. And thank you so much for your support too so far. And really, we do appreciate you coming forward to us and giving us this support. We do not have the deadline, as I said. Just repeat two things in mind. First, we need to know when CAD release the money, and typically they release the money when they finish the investigation and when they conclude the court proceedings. That's number one. And the second thing is that after we complete establishing whether the profit share and commissions, whether they are legitimate, whether we should be paying to them or not paying to them. And also the other thing is that whether we are able to lay our hands on assets that's outside this 167 million that is seized by CAD. Okay, but we'll make sure that we'll do it quickly. Our experience with CAD is that we all want to do this quickly. We know that everybody is eager for this. How do we file the affidavit? Okay, if you want to file any affidavit at all, you will have to first engage a lawyer, right? Then the lawyer will know what to do. There's a protocol in court that they have to file the affidavit by 16th of June. Okay, go for liquidation. Need a high-level timeline when will refund happen? Okay, I suppose the first part is your suggestion. Go for liquidation. Well, that is exactly the preliminary views of the IJM, and need a high-level timeline. When will refund happen? Really, I cannot promise all of you. My apologies for that, but we can only assure you that we'll try our best to do it as quick as possible. Right? What actions should we take moving forward? Okay, I would say that as I've said just now, you have all the right to lodge any police report or file any civil suit against anybody if you have enough evidence, or you don't have to do that. Leave it to us. There's no specific action that you need to do. We will continue to give you the feedback, and as and when we feel that you need to, for example, file a proof of that with us, when we are ready to extricate, when we are ready to distribute, we'll definitely let you know. But do keep close with us, and so that at least we have your registered contact details. Right? There's no mention about Samtrade listed in US dollar stock market or how much they have spent listed there. No. From what we understand, Samtrade is not listed in any stock market at all. Okay, not US dollar stock market, not Singapore stock market. What about entities in China, Brunei, Vietnam, and Philippines apart from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia? Okay, we are still looking into this. We are not sure whether there's any entities in Brunei. I know that there could be some business dealing in Vietnam. There may be some business dealing or attempted business dealing in China in the past. Not sure whether how large is it or whether it eventually take effect or not. But we'll continue to investigate into that and update all of you. Which authorities or departments in Indonesia has the IGM been in contact with? Okay, I'm sorry. This is something that we cannot share with all of you. Anything that we've talked to the authorities, which authority, what is the communication, what is content, that is something that we are not at liberty to share with any one of you. Hope you understand that. How much amount that is recovered so far by iGEMs plus the one that is frozen by CAD? I can tell you that altogether, whatever that's frozen by CAD and recovered by us is about 167 million. Now, but do bear in mind that 167 million, there's about 124 point something million that's in cryptocurrency. Okay, so that is something that we have to slowly convert it to cash without disrupting the market, so that hopefully $1 of cryptocurrency equals to $1 of cash. Is Sam go behind bar now while investigation is underway? Not that I know of. What needs to happen for you to be appointed as GM? Thank you very much for the question. Well, we hope that typically what we know that is that as IGM, if there's nobody objecting to us being appointed as a full GM, we will continue to be the full GM. Now, only if there's any wrongdoing in our part, or if there's anybody who is strongly object to us being the GM or liquidators, for whatever reason, they have to go to court to tell the court what is the reason. And then, the court will decide whether we should be the GM or not. But thanks for the question, and thanks for your support. Staff won't be able to get their pay. Okay, so whatever pay that is owing to the staff before the IGMs, they will rank together with all of you as unsecured creditors. Okay, so they will not get paid ahead of all of you. Okay, but for the few staff that we actually engage them, they will get the pay, but it's at a much reduced sum from what the previous salary is. Did IGM with CAD and MS could collaborate with Indonesia or Malaysian authorities to capture the account holder? Okay, I suppose the question is whether can IGM work together with CAD and MAS and collaborate with the authorities in Indonesia and Malaysia to get the account holders in those countries, just get them. Now, this is something that we are doing. We are working very closely with CAD in particular, and we are still working with the Indonesia and Malaysian authorities. Okay. What is the impact for the closing of position by MT4 during the suspension of operations on recovery? Okay, once MT4 is terminated on 31st of January, and that is the end of it, all the open trades are being forced closed, and all the losses or profits are being realized. And that's the end of Samtrade online business. And therefore, even though we can call it suspension of operations, really there's no more business anymore, right? After 31st January 2022, after MP4 terminate the license with Samtrade, there's no more business, okay? Are the fees charged by the lawyers and IGM will be paid using the founded money? Yes. And if yes, how much will it approximately cost? As I've explained earlier, the cost is one thing, and how much the court approved is another thing. We expect that the cost is about $5 million, but at the end of the day, it's really up to the independent assessor to assess what is a reasonable sum, and for the court to decide what is a reasonable sum. And all of you will be able to have your voice heard in the court to say whether is it reasonable or not. Is all profit earned showed to us from system all are lie? Okay, profit showed to you from system. I take it that is your profit. Now I would say that whatever CRM is showing you that you make profit, I think that is a profit that you make. I think the question is, who made the loss? The loss is actually Samtrade, right? So I don't think you can call it a lie, but it's profit that you made, but who is going to pay you that profit? Okay. Employees and directors' salaries seems too high. Should claw back if they are paid way above the market rate. For directors, aren't they supposed to cover up the losses? Should get police to catch them. Okay, I suppose for question number one, yes, we will also always consider that. And in fact, we have already adjusted the salaries, to market. And I reassure all of you that we are not paying Sam Goh anything at all. We are not hiring him at all. Okay. Now, and for directors, yes, the CADs are looking into this. Why did Finacom terminate Samtrade membership in 2022? Good question. Can Finacom do that considering that the IGM had been appointed in January 2022? It's something that, yes, they can. They have all the rights under the agreement with Samtrade. They can do that. We just have to see what is our legal right against them. Okay. Does it mean all investment by Indonesian investors under Fin 888 are held by Indonesian entities? Okay, we cannot be sure about that. Not at this time. Okay, we do not know whether the investor under Fin 888 are they all Indonesian investors. Okay, why is Sam Goh getting IGM when he himself is not cooperating with the investigation? Okay, good question. As I said, I can answer the first part of it is why is Sam Goh getting IGM? Because he has no choice. Company has no money to operate anymore. He has faced all of you if he doesn't get the IGM in. Now, why is it that he is not cooperating with the investigation? Good question. That we will ask him. How do you define if profit share and commission is legitimate? Yes, good question too, but that is actually a legal question. We are talking to our lawyers and we have to see whether in the first place, whether is there any irregularities in all these training activities. That's number one. And number two, whether is this consistent with the market practice? And that's something that we probably will have to consult a market expert on this CFD trade as well. Okay, so this is a very, very valid question, but it's something that we have to discuss with our lawyers. How is the money in Malaysia and Indonesian entities, as reported, stated, has all been withdrawn? Yes, the money has been withdrawn, but we assure you that we are still working. We have reported the matter to the authority. We will not just let go of it. We'll continue to follow up with the authorities, and we will continue to follow up with our Malaysian and Indonesian lawyers to see how we can get this money back. I also need to manage your expectation, right, in a way, because these are quite different from Singapore, right? So we will try our best. Yes, be well assured that to try to get the money back. Is it not already clear that there is outright fraud based on the lack of segregation of funds? Yes, there's lack of segregation of funds, but we can't really call that fraud, not on that particular area. But I can only say that there's misrepresentation on that particular area. But whether the trades, are they fraud? Can't say that, but it's certainly, well, I would say that it's questionable and it's not sustainable. Samtrade is also the sponsor of a big Spanish football club, FC Valence. Was this a fake sponsoring as well? I do not think that it's fake sponsoring. I know that there's some money paid to this FC Valence, right? But that has been terminated some time back. What is the timeline we are looking at, and when do we start submitting our claims? Okay, now, if you're talking about submitting our claims, your claims, we will inform you when we need you to submit the proof of that, right? And be well assured, not only will write to you, and not only we will address all those proof of that we have received, but if there's any of you that if you are being registered as an account holder here, if we do not receive anything from you, we will probably go one step further to try to contact you, right? So just in case you are afraid that you are being missed out, we will try our best to reach out to you. if there are any fines by the government, would this lower the pool of funds available to creditors? Okay, I do not foresee any. I suppose the fines by government means fine by the government on Samtrade, SVG, or the IGM companies. So far, right now, I do not see this coming at all, right? If there's any wrongdoing, it's probably individuals, not the company. I don't think that the companies will be penalized. Large amount of funds withheld by CAD are in crypto. Due to volatility in the market, there might be unnecessary erosion due to volatility. Is there any measure to convert this or expedite the distribution? Now, this is a very valid concern. This is something that we know we also express a concern to CAD, but we have to be very careful in managing this. First of all, whether we convert that to cash or not, how soon, and how we manage that is something we have to be very careful, because we also do not want to have a run in the market that affects the value of this crypto. Secondly, this will not expedite the distribution to all of you. At best, it will be a conversion from crypto to cash. We are aware that many overseas creditors who have their funds frozen. How is that some Indonesian and Malaysian funds were able to be released or withdrawn recently? Thank you. Thanks for the question. Yes, so the funds are frozen by CAD, and CAD only has jurisdiction in Singapore. And that is why, the Singapore funds are frozen by CAD. Malaysian and Indonesian, unfortunately, CAD do not have jurisdiction over funds that's held there. And that's why, actually, I do have feedback, and the feedback is, hey, did CAD cause this hold on for? I don't think so. In fact, it is lucky that CAD come in and take over all this money, freeze all the funds in Singapore, or else there's nothing to guarantee that funds in Singapore will also be gone. Do we need to trigger the withdrawal ourselves, or will it be automated to return to us? No, you don't have to trigger anything. As I've explained just now, there will be a process. Once we become JM, full JM or liquidator, we will call for a proof of debt to be filed by all of you. We will determine how much is owed to all of you, and then we will decide how much to distribute to all of you. Okay. Will IGM investigate Mr. Peter Sufandri, who promote Fin that's related to Samtrade? I reassure you again that we will investigate into the business conduct of Samtrade as a whole, that the parties that are involved actively in this whole business. Okay. Some of the investors go through Samtrade by third-party company. Will they be liable as well? Same answer, right? Same answer. We will see. We will investigate and see who are actually the people that are in the know, whether we are able to establish that, and whether, is there anything that these sort of intermediaries, whether they have enriched themselves or unduly enriched themselves. Are you able to provide a preliminary indication on a without prejudice basis what would be the recovery based on current available figures and number of creditors and claims? What would be the recovery percentage per dollar invested? Really, if you want to talk about ballpark figure, it is 160 over million in terms of assets divided by 875 million liabilities. But really, this is very rough, and I don't even think that you should take that, because really, at the end of the day, we have a lot to consider. Whether the 875 million, remember that includes profit share and commission, whether we should pay for that. And the other thing that we should consider is whether people who withdraw more than what they deposit, whether we should in the first place pay them anything at all, right? So there's a lot to consider. So it's very hard to tell any one of you. And in fact, all of you may be different, because some of you are just purely, your balance purely made up of deposit. Some of you, the balance made up of deposit, profit share, commission. So it's very hard for me to tell you what's the recovery level. Since there is a large shortfall, does JMs have the power to apply to court to liquidate Samgo's personal assets? Now, I think, first of all, CAD has already frozen Samgo's assets, number one. Number two, if we want to do that, yes, We do not rule out the possibility of we filing a civil suit against Samgo. And for Samgo, if let's say we find any wrongdoing by Samgo that caused all these things, and if we can file a civil suit and if we are successful now then we can go after Samgo, right? But that is this very preliminary stage. But I'm just telling you that there's a possible process, and we do consider that. Based on past cases, how long do such investigations cases take to conclude? And approximately how long more do we have to wait to get back our money? Okay. I think this is a $1 million question. I think a lot of people are asking that. We will try our best to sort of distribute the money, but as to how long does investigation take, it's hard to give you a timeline, right? We will try our best to make it as quick as possible. Now, ourselves as well as CAD. Okay. Are there any interim updates from international police investigation of money absconded by foreign individuals? No, not at this juncture. We are still following up with the authorities in Malaysia and Indonesia on the monies that's withdrawn. Will you renew Samtrade website license, which will due this July? Good question, but I think the question to all of you is, will you still trade with the Samtrade website? I don't think anybody will want to do this trading with Samtrade website anymore, and therefore there's really no reason why we should renew the Samtrade website license. And even if we want to renew, I don't think that MetaCode or MatchTrade will allow us to renew. Okay? Is there a need to register our investment monies outstanding to anyone to ensure we are considered when monies are subsequently returned, or iGEMs have records from Samtrade system? Yes. As I've explained just now, you don't have to go to anybody at all to register the balance that you are owed. Okay, we do have your record, and also at the same time, we will require you to file a proof of debt with us. And when that time comes, we'll sort of approach you again, right? And not to worry about this proof of debt thing, because we'll guide you along the way. How many introducing brokers are there? Will you be taking any legal actions to the introducing brokers? Okay. Now, there are many introducing brokers right now, hundreds of them. Whether we will be taking any legal action is too early to say. Okay. Again, even though we will have to do whatever we need to do as an officer of court, but we also, have to make sure that we have sufficient ground and we do not just file any claims that is seen to be frivolous, right? What about Samtrade FX license from Australia? Okay, I'm not aware of any Samtrade FX license in Australia. I do know that there is an Australia company that is not under the IJM as well. We are trying to understand more about this Australian company and see whether is there any money that we can recover from there. Okay. When I make profit using Samtrade platform by trading, who pays this profit? Is it Samtrade or is it liquidity providers? I think this is a good question, which I've explained just now. When you make profit, now, typically when you as a client enter into a trade, your counterparty is Samtrade, and therefore when you make profit, Samtrade make a loss. Okay, and where does Samtrade get the money to pay you? That's a very good question. Okay, because Samtrade has been making losses overall, and also have to add on to the losses, it's been sort of suffering commissions of 103 million. What are the efforts of IGEM to help get money back from TJ and friends? Please explain your step. Okay, I can't explain to you the detailed step right now. That is a good question too, but it's something that we are talking to our Indonesian lawyers, and you will appreciate the difficulty in any enforcement action in Indonesia, but we are not going to give up. We will try to explore all ways and means. And if you do have any idea at all, we are very happy to hear from you. Right? Please come forward to us. Will the personal assets of the directors be frozen and used to pay what is owed to the creditors? Okay, as I said, I think CAD has already frozen Samgo's assets. How many investors from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia? In terms of number of fiscal investors, we do not know. But in terms of user account, okay, user account, altogether there's about 165,000 user account. And I'll tell you the vast majority is from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, right? I would say that about 90% of it. And of course, just bear in mind that if when I say that these investors are from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, not necessary that these are individuals that are residents of Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, right? They may be people from other countries set up a company in Singapore, right? They may also be some Indonesian or Singaporean setting up companies in some other countries, like SVG, right? St. Vincent and Grenadines, or Seychelles Island. But I can tell you that, the user account, there are about 165,000 of it. Do you plan or any intentions to interview TJ? Yes, we have already spoken to TJ already, and we are still trying to locate him. After he told us that he has passed money to MC, we want to know exactly where the money is and how we can recover the money. Right? But I can tell you that just by interviewing TJ, I don't think it's good enough. There must be more to be done. Sam Goh's legal fees are from his personal assets of Samtrade. Be well assured that, first thing, Samtrade's assets are all frozen by CAD. I don't think CAD will allow Sam Goh to use his money to pay for his legal fees. So I think where he gets his money to pay the legal fees is something that he has to answer himself. How can this company operate for 7 years and only now have it been declared by MAS and CAD that they have committed a breach? Okay, I do not know whether has MAS or CAD declared any breach or anything like that. I do not think so. But I can tell you one thing, right? That even though the company may not be incorporated for 7 years, it's probably more like 5 years, right? But it is a bit more active, right? It is more active in year 2021, last year. That 1 year itself actually is a year that entered into more than 95% of the trade. So even though the company is existence for a long time, I think it's probably caught eye of anybody at all, including the authority, only in last year. How could Sam Goh doesn't know MC as he has hold 60 million? Yes, this is the same question that I'm asking as well. What if Sam Goh colluded with MC to hide the money? Good question. Right, so this is something that we are trying to establish whether or not this is in fact the case, or how, I think more importantly, how to take the money back. Is Sam Goh and Goh Lee Sing personally related? Not that I know of. I think I asked this question before. The answer is no. There was sponsorship for football clubs. How much money was used for that? La Liga team, Valencia, CF Hoofs. Okay, I do not have the... Okay, I did look at it before that. I cannot remember how much is in the... Well, I need to come back to you on that. Huh? How accurate the number that IGM having at this moment? I think the accuracy of the numbers that we have is as accurate as, whatever that we can get from the CRM, if you're talking about your balance, okay? Because CRM is really, what all of you are relying on to determine what is your balance, right? So this is something that we are also relying on, the CRM. In terms of the numbers in relation to the cash, gold, crypto, I can tell you that we can only say that 160 over million that we verified. Now this is a number that we feel is accurate. As long as we have no control over any other amount of money, we can't say that they are accurate. Will IGM consider to engage professional forensic investigator to assist in the tracing and recovery of assets? We will not rule out this possibility, but only if it's necessary. Because right now we are also doing our own investigation. We are using a lot of data analytics. As you know, 1 month there's about 2 million trades. There's a lot of trades, right? So really, the only way to do is data analytics, and we are using our own in-house people to do that. Is there a need to engage debt collector? There is people saying engaging debt collector can do the job. Okay, we'd like to discuss a bit more of that. Now, if there's anything that you have in your mind, please approach us as well. Okay, but if not, then typically we'll go through a legal means. How do we access the Samtrade to check our balance if you do not renew the website? Okay, what I understand is that whatever that is you see in your gadget or your device, that is actually the last balance. Okay, you should use that. Will the most recent registered member who deposited the monies get the priorities to get the monies and get back the capital back, since myself only joined for 1 week? No, sorry, you will not. So everybody, all of you are equal victims. All of you will share whatever proceed that we recover on a pro rata basis. A huge portion of the 167 million is crypto. Do we know if it's in USDT or other coins? I think that's USDT. If it's not in USDT, then the value might not be what it was seized. So it is far to say that CAD still has 167 million. Okay, from whatever we know, that the 124 million is still 124 million at this point in time, right? That's a cryptocurrency. That's USDT. If Samtrade website is not renewed, many people cannot get in to take snapshot of their proof of that balance. Do come to us. Let us know if you have any problem with that. We will try to assist as much as we can. What has led to the investigation of Samtrade or who? Okay, we do not know how did this whole thing trigger off. But if you look at the pattern of trading, if for 5 years there's nothing, no activity or very minimal activity at all, and in 1 year you look at the activity level in 2021, I wouldn't rule out a possibility that will catch the eyes of anybody. Ravi Dabral, who claimed to be a Singapore lawyer, did due diligence on Samtrade and personally interviewed Samgo. He concluded that Samtrade is legitimate and good, and hence promoted Samtrade aggressively. He may be paid by Samgo to promote Samtrade and Fin 888. Please include him in your investigations to check if his dealings are legitimate. Thank you very much for this information. We'll definitely look into this because this is a name that. Thanks for sharing. What is the logical stop as expenses on fees will continue to grow? We will be very careful in incurring fees. If it's not necessary, we will not just incur it, right? And if we're incurring fees, be well assured that firstly is to try to recover assets, and secondly is try to determine how much to distribute to all of you. Renewing the Samtrade fx.com domain name for a year only costs about $10. The website should be up until the investigations are over. I suppose in the first place, because of the termination of this MT4, whether it is still useful to have this Samtrade fx.com domain name or whatever it is, I don't think it's relevant anymore. But if the whole idea is for you all to verify the balance and all that, please do come straight to the IGMs and we'll work with you on that. Thank you for the work and patience in answering the questions. You're most welcome, and thanks for your support once again. On Sam's website, the ticker for Samtrade Asia Private Limited is shown. It is supposedly trading on the US OTC market. It is still being traded live as of 27 May 2022. Why is that so? Thank you. Thank you very much for this information. This is something that we are not aware of. We will look into this, but this is a very useful information. Thanks. What about Samtrade companies, Samtrade Asia Private Limited, which are listed on the USA Stock Exchange? Does it have any relation or not? Now, there's a whole host of companies that we list in our Appendix 1 that we are actually started to look into this. Now, let me see whether is this company in there. But thanks for this information as well. Any indication of how much percentage of the amount owed to debtors are due to Fin 888 network? Had this impression had this impression that Sam and Fin AAA were somewhat connected. Okay, thanks for this question. I will not make this judgment at this stage, but we certainly will look into this. Why is Jonathan Tan assisting in the investigation where he is a LCMS trader director? Well, okay, I can't answer this question. Why is Jonathan assisting in this? But I can only say that the people that is staying back and help us actually provided us a lot of assistance, because if not, then really we wouldn't even be able to in this position to talk to all of you, provide you with this update and answer all your questions, right? And we do once again thank these ex-employees of Samtrade and thank all of you for all your help in our work. Right? There's no further questions already. And I'd like to assure all of you once again, this is not the end of it. We're still continuing our work. And please do feel free to contact us anytime at all, but be patient with us. We may not be able to sort of address your concerns or queries immediately, but be well assured we'll come back to you. Right? Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.